FDP, we talked about environmental programs, environmental workshops, environmental conferences, environmental engineering MTech program or BTech courses. The bottom line is, let's keep this planet as clean as possible, as livable as possible. So if you look at, so we were looking at the age, and then if you look at the global population, how it has changed over last, say, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 years. So initially the population was very low. This is showing up almost zero because it's not zero. Y-axis is in millions. That's why it shows up very close to zero. But in last 200 plus years, from 1800 onwards, you see a sharp increase in population, a huge increase in population. And that huge increase in population had started demanding more resources, more mining, especially after the Second World War. After the Industrial Revolution of the Second World War, we saw there is a consumption increase like anything. We started consuming at a much faster rate. Our expectation has gone up, our aspirations have gone up. To some extent, it's okay, but we have not really managed the material very well. The way of not material we are getting it from mining and the different sources. We are not managing that properly, and it's getting a huge amount of waste and leading to global warming and all those different types of pollutions. So one is the population going up. We are becoming more and more urban. A lot of issues. If you have a 4 degree centigrade temperature rise, you will see certain deaths, and then vector-borne disease, hunger. 7 million deaths from air pollution itself. Pollution and pollen season will increase, leading to more allergy, more asthma. And so we have to quantify. So how to quantify these impacts? So in the industrial ecology, you may have heard the term industrial ecology. That basically is a course of study. This is the basic definition they use to quantify impact. Impact is population times affluence times technology. So your population is going up. Affluence, we can quantify that as GDP per capita. Now, GDP per capita, we want it to go up, isn't it? Right now, our GDP is pretty high. If you look at total GDP from India, maybe we are the third biggest or fourth biggest, something like that, economy. But if you divide it by population, if you divide it by 1 point, since we have a huge population, of course, our GDP numbers are increasingly from since independence. We have a GDP is going. In fact, before independence or before the British came, and in fact, until the Mughal time, it was not. From a economic point of view, it was not that much of a problem. We were still a very big economy until British arrived, and the British basically took away most of the stuff from India. Other rulers did not really take away. They came and they settled down here, but British mostly take things away to their home country. So, but we want that affluence back. We want people to be affluent. Per capita, it will be increasing. Population is increasing. So, what is left here is the key part, the technology part. So we have to work on reduce the overall environmental impact. So that's the only thing which is left with us. Right now, what we are doing with all the technologies that we have, we use more than 50 kg per person per day, and only 3 kg gets recycled, 19, 21 in use, but we are 22, 6 plus 2 plus 19, almost like 27 kgs are just getting dumped into the environment and increasing our ecological footprint. Ecological footprint says that amount of land area and the water that is required to produce sustainably the resource that is needed to support the defined population at a set standard of living for that particular area. For example, Vancouver has a population of 1.7 million, and their ecological footprint is 19 times its area. What does it mean? The way the people are living in Vancouver, you need 19 Vancouvers to support. You need 19 Vancouvers to support that, your living standard for that. Netherlands, 14 times its area. Australia has one of the highest footprint of 6.25 hectare because Australia's population is very low. So when you divide it by per person, since it's per person, the population, if the denominator is low, your value will be higher. And the numerator is higher in Australia because Australia is a huge country. So they have to maintain all those infrastructure and all. They have to really, so they consume lots of resources. should day concept is. If you're not aware, Google it. You go to their website, you'll find a lot of details. But in very simple way, what it basically tells us that what is the date by which we are using up all the resources that the nature is providing us for that particular calendar year. So this last year, it was 24th of July. And as you can see, this red bar is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That means the date is becoming more. Mostly we are in the July and August time frame. Earlier it was in December in 1971. It was almost like this is a global average. Now, if you look at just the India is actually since although we are trying to move towards increasing the per capita consumption, but the per capita consumption in India is still, just look at the Earth overshoot day for India, it's not that bad. But if you globally, when you look at, you see those bars are getting bigger. Now we go to June. So that will mean that by whatever resources is provided by nature for that particular year, we are using it by July 24. Rest of the we have to borrow from resources. We borrow from our reserves, borrow from like a savings that we have done for future. So that will, if you do it 1 year, maybe okay, do year after year, and you are becoming resource-wise bankrupt. The way we live today on this planet, we need 1.8. Unfortunately, the developing countries are also trying to follow the same model which the developed country has followed. Everything nowadays, even if you look at in India, the cars are getting bigger. In our campus too, most of the cars, new cars which are coming with a newer faculty, or it's getting much bigger, and the parking is becoming a problem. Right now in our Indian household, that is slightly older data, maybe now 15% or so, Indian households have car. Now, if you think about if the car numbers just doubles from 12% or 13%, it becomes 25% of the household, because we want to become Viksit Bharat. So of course, those things will also come. If the 25% of our Indian population starts having car, think about what will happen on the road. Already what we see in big cities like Chennai, Bangalore, car doesn't move. Or many places, Kolkata as well. Many parts of Kolkata, it's so much of traffic jam. So if the car numbers double, we cannot. There is a limitation on how much highways you can build as well. But how much highways or how much roadways you can build. So the country like India, actually the focus should be more on public transport. Good quality public transport with end of mile connectivity, rather than going for this big cars, which is actually not is suitable for the. So, but that's where we are moving, because that's what America did. So we just want to follow that unfortunate part. And parts of America is trying to follow back. They are again trying to go back and say that they have done the mess. They have created the mess. So let's clear the mess. So we also want to create the mess first and not create the mess at the first place. So that's where the definition of sustainable development comes, which says that please don't create that mess. It says you meet the need of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. The way we are consuming over here, as you can see, what are we really going to meet the future generations' life will be very difficult. In the decision, in the kind of those points in kind of background, you can say this SDGs came about. We have the sustainable, no poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education, gender equality, and you know about this nice looking colorful picture with 17 goals. And if you look at each of these goals, most of it are good engineering solution, good engineering intervention. Without engineers, we cannot really meet any of these goals. Then core engineers, like engineers, of course, we need IT and other people, but we also, more requirement is the need of good quality core engineers, civil, mechanical, electrical, and metallurgy. Unfortunately, most of the engineering students, so how we will meet sustainable development goal if you don't have good quality core engineers working in the country globally? It's not possible. It's not possible to meet SDGs. So we have to think about that part as well. So with those background, if you think of the sustainability, I've already told you it is environmental, social, and environmental part. So when we talk about environmental sustainability, how to measure environmental sustainability? How you really want to measure that? So for the measurement part, the tool that is used is life cycle analysis. So life cycle thinking is also there. The basic life cycle thinking says that whenever you are looking at anything from an environmental point of view, don't look at only say part of it. Look at the entire process. Like look at have a holistic assessment. So, for example, you start from raw material extraction and processing, manufacturing, assembly, distribution, transportation, then your use phase, and try to bring it back. Don't let things go into